On Mother's Day, we had a little bit of an argument, which I don't think the details are necessary. And in that argument, I was so fed up and so tired that I just looked at him and I said, well, then file the divorce papers. And in our relationship, that is the one cardinal thing that you don't say, even though my husband has said it numerous times because he's the runner. But when I say it, it really holds weight because I'm not the type of person who says what I don't mean. And I ended up leaving. I packed a bag and I left. He ended up doing exactly what I told him to do and filing the divorce papers. It was not mutual. Even though I told him to file the divorce papers, I was speaking out of anger and just frustration. But was it necessary for us to have a wake-up call and to actually start having these real conversations? Absolutely. I don't care how much we didn't communicate or how things shook out. I was riding with this mother till the wheels fell off. I didn't care. I felt like we deserved a chance to go to therapy and figure it out. He didn't feel that way. And I respect it. It took me a month and a half now to respect that. My husband and I are ending this marriage on the best possible terms that you could ever have a divorce. I love him, and you guys are going to be shocked to hear this, but we're still having a baby.
Had already moved on.
We're still having a baby, guys.
We're still having a baby together. So we have been the most unconventional couple that you guys have ever encountered.
Most beloved couples had simply chosen different paths. It seemed like the mystery was over. Then one unexpected livestream changed everything. Fam Jelly Roll's daughter, Bailee Ann, appeared on TikTok looking visibly frustrated by the non-stop rumors flooding her comments. She didn't fuel the biggest theory online. Instead, she shut it down immediately. According to Bailee, nobody cheated. That rumor, she made clear, wasn't true. But just when viewers thought the conversation was ending, she dropped a statement that instantly reignited the internet. She hinted that people had absolutely no idea what really happened behind the scenes. Then she made an even bigger claim, suggesting the internet would completely crumble the day she finally decided to speak openly about it. Within minutes, clips of the live stream spread across social media, and thousands of viewers started asking the same question. Mayans, if cheating wasn't the reason, then what was? Almost overnight, speculation exploded. Every old interview was suddenly being re-examined. Every podcast clip, every social media post became another piece of a puzzle that fans were desperate to solve. Some believed Bailee was hinting at a family secret. Others wondered if there was a private struggle the public had never seen. But despite all the theories racing across the internet, there was one major problem. Nobody actually knew. And then Bunnie Xo herself stepped into the conversation. Instead of adding fuel to the fire, she posted a surprisingly calm response. She insisted there was nothing to clear up and suggested people were creating their own narrative out of comments that had been taken far beyond their original meaning. Even more surprising, she publicly showed love and support for Bailee, making it clear there was no family feud unfolding behind the scenes. So why does this story continue to dominate social media if everyone involved keeps denying the biggest rumors? Lions. That's exactly what we're diving into today. We'll break down what Bailee actually said, how Bunnie responded, what Jelly Roll has revealed since the divorce, and, just as importantly, separate the confirmed facts from the online speculation. Because sometimes the biggest celebrity mystery isn't what happened behind closed doors, it's how quickly millions of people convince themselves they already know the answer. And as you'll soon discover, the truth may be far more unexpected than anyone imagined. For years, Jelly Roll and Bunnie Xo seemed like the kind of couple who had already survived the hardest chapters of life together. Long before sold-out arenas, chart-topping albums, and red carpet appearances, they openly talked about building their relationship through difficult times. Fans watched them celebrate each other's successes, joke together in interviews, and repeatedly describe one another as best friends. That history made them one of country music's most admired couples, so when news of their divorce quietly surfaced, it caught almost everyone. Unlike many celebrity breakups, filled with dramatic social media posts or public arguments, this one unfolded with very little warning. Court records later confirmed that Jelly Roll had filed for divorce in Tennessee in May, and the split was finalized not long afterward. While the legal process appeared straightforward, the lack of a detailed public explanation left an enormous gap that the internet immediately rushed to fill. Almost overnight, social media became flooded with theories. Some people insisted there had to be a hidden scandal. Others searched through old podcast clips, interviews, and Instagram posts, convinced they had missed warning signs. Every emotional speech and every moment the couple had shared publicly was suddenly being analyzed from a completely different perspective. But despite the endless speculation, one thing stood out: neither Jelly Roll nor Bunnie Xo seemed interested in creating drama. Instead of criticizing one another, they remained unusually respectful in public. That alone confused many fans, who were expecting the kind of bitter celebrity breakup that usually dominates entertainment headlines. The more peaceful they appeared, the more people wondered whether they were intentionally hiding something or whether the internet was simply reading far too much into a private family decision. As days passed, theories continued spreading faster than verified information. Every new rumor generated thousands of comments, yet almost none of it came directly from the people involved. The mystery only grew larger because there were so few confirmed details available, will likely remain deeply developed. Another factor to watch is whether any new verified information about the reported prison fight eventually becomes public. So far, federal officials have maintained their policy of not commenting on inmate-specific disciplinary matters. Unless that changes, many of the details surrounding the incident may never be officially confirmed, leaving room for continued speculation and debate online. One thing, however, is beyond dispute: the image of Sean Diddy Combs has changed dramatically over the past few years. Once recognized primarily as a chart-topping producer, influential entrepreneur, and cultural icon, he is now at the center of one of the most closely followed legal stories in the entertainment world. The reported prison altercation has become another chapter in that ongoing narrative, but it is unlikely to be the final one. Whether this incident ultimately proves to be a minor disciplinary matter or something with longer-term consequences will depend on facts that have not yet been made public. Until then, separating verified information from online speculation remains more important than ever. As new developments, they may answer some of today's biggest questions, but they could also raise entirely new ones. And in a story that has already taken so many unexpected turns, the next chapter may once again surprise everyone watching. What began as a report of a brief confrontation inside a federal prison has grown into yet another headline in one of the entertainment industry's most closely watched stories. While reports claim Diddy was involved in a physical altercation and later placed in solitary confinement, many of the details remain unconfirmed because federal officials do not publicly discuss individual inmate disciplinary matters. That means separating verified facts from online speculation is more important than ever. One thing is clear, though: every new development in Diddy's case is magnified because of who he is. A prison incident that might barely make local news under different circumstances has become international headline material, fueling debates across social media, television, and news outlets. As more people weigh in, rumors continue to spread alongside the facts, making it increasingly difficult to know exactly what happened behind those prison walls. Whether this reported fight has any lasting impact on Diddy's sentence. or future inside the federal prison system remains to be seen. Until prison officials or court records provide additional verified information, much of the conversation will remain based on reports, anonymous sources, and public speculation rather than official confirmation. What makes this story so fascinating isn't just the alleged altercation itself, it's how dramatically one of music's most powerful figures has seen his life transformed. The journey from global superstar and business mogul to federal inmate has unfolded in front of millions of people, with every chapter attracting. This latest incident is simply another reminder that the story is still evolving. Lined as new information emerges, the picture may become clearer or it may raise even more questions. For now, the reported prison fight serves as another example of how quickly a single moment can dominate headlines when it involves one of the world's most recognizable celebrities. What do you think? Was this simply a routine prison incident that became major news because of Diddy's fame, or could it signal bigger developments still to come? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more factual breakdowns of the biggest celebrity news stories, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next update. Responding to a fan on TikTok who asked her to clarify Bailee's viral comments, Bunnie wrote, "Nothing to clear up." She added that Bailee didn't say anything and suggested that people were simply running with a narrative they had created themselves. It wasn't an emotional rant or a defensive explanation. It was calm, direct, and surprisingly brief. Perhaps even more telling was the way Bunnie spoke about her stepdaughter. Rather than criticizing Bailee for accidentally fueling more speculation, she ended her response with a heartfelt message, calling her my baby and making it clear there was still plenty of love between them. That small detail stood out to many fans because it showed there wasn't an obvious family conflict unfolding behind the scenes, despite what some people online had assumed. But the internet wasn't ready to let the story go. Instead of accepting Bunnie's explanation, many social media users began dissecting every word she wrote. Some argued that her response proved there was nothing dramatic to uncover after all. Others insisted that her decision not to explain further only made the mystery feel even bigger. As often happens online, the absence of new information encouraged even more speculation. Gen reports and fan discussions quickly spread across TikTok, YouTube, and other platforms, with creators offering countless theories about what Bailee might have meant. However, it's important to separate fact from assumption. While many rumors circulated, none of those theories were backed by verified evidence, and Bunnie's own statement pushed back against the idea that Bailee had revealed some hidden scandal. Looking back, Bunnie's response fit a pattern that had become increasingly clear since news of the divorce first surfaced. Neither she nor Jelly Roll had publicly attacked one another. Neither had hinted at betrayal or scandal. In fact, both continued speaking about each other with warmth and respect, which made the public's appetite for dramatic explanations seem even more disconnected from what the family was actually saying. Still, one question refused to disappear. If there really was nothing to clear up, why had so many people become convinced there had to be a secret waiting to be revealed? The answer becomes much clearer when you look at what the couple themselves have consistently shared. Since the divorce and those confirmed facts paint a very different picture than the rumors flooding social media. Because once you separate speculation from reality, the story becomes far more unusual than anyone expected. With so many rumors circulating online, it's easy to lose sight of what has actually been confirmed. Strip away the speculation, and the picture becomes much clearer, although it's still far from an ordinary celebrity divorce. The first confirmed fact is that Jelly Roll quietly filed for divorce in a Tennessee court in May. Unlike many high-profile celebrity splits that unfold through public statements or dramatic social media posts, this process remained relatively court documents later showed that the divorce was finalized in early July. According to those filings, the former couple agreed to divide their personal property, including furniture, furnishings, and other belongings. They also reached agreements regarding bank accounts, investment accounts, retirement funds, trusts, life insurance, and other financial assets. From a legal standpoint, the process appeared organized and cooperative rather than combative. Then came Jelly Roll's own words. Banned during a concert in June, he addressed the divorce directly in front of thousands of fans. Instead of criticizing Bunnie or hinting at hidden problems, he offered a message that surprised many people. He said the two had spoken on the phone earlier that same day and described Bunnie as his best friend. He also firmly denied the biggest rumor surrounding the breakup, telling the audience that nobody had cheated. He went on to thank her for the decade they had shared as husband and not wife, while expressing hope that they would continue sharing many more years as close friends. Banned. Only hours earlier, Bunnie had spoken publicly on her Dumb Blonde podcast, and her comments echoed that same respectful tone. Rather than focusing on the end of the marriage, she talked about the future. She explained that despite the divorce, they still plan to continue their journey toward having a child together. After previously sharing her IVF experience with fans, she revealed that those plans had not changed. She said she remained excited about becoming a mother and emphasized that Jelly Roll fully supported continuing that journey alongside her. Banned for many people, that revelation was perhaps the most unexpected part of the entire story. Divorce often signals the end of shared long-term plans, especially something as life-changing as starting a family. Yet both of them described a future built on friendship, mutual respect, and company parenting rather than conflict. It challenged the traditional picture of what a celebrity breakup is supposed to look like. Taken together, the confirmed facts tell a remarkably consistent story. The divorce happened. The legal process was completed. Both Jelly Roll and Bunnie publicly denied cheating. Both continued speaking positively about one another, and both expressed their intention to remain deeply connected as they move forward with plans to raise a child together. Those facts stand in sharp contrast to many of the dramatic narratives circulating online. But because one important question remains unanswered, the speculation hasn't disappeared, it has only grown louder. And that's exactly why so many people are still convinced. There's another chapter to this story, waiting to be revealed. Even after the divorce was finalized and both Jelly Roll and Bunnie Xo publicly denied the biggest rumors, the confused tag. In fact, for many fans, Bailee Ann's livestream only made the mystery feel even bigger. The reason wasn't because she revealed new evidence, it was because of what she didn't say. Her comment that the internet would crumble if people learned the full story became the spark that reignited online speculation. Within hours, social media was flooded with reaction videos, fan theories, and countless attempts to decode her words. Every old interview was suddenly treated like a clue, and every public appearance became another piece of what some viewers believed was a much larger puzzle. But it's important to separate curiosity from confirmed information. As of now, there is no verified evidence showing that cheating, abuse, financial misconduct, or any other major scandal caused the divorce. Those ideas have appeared in online discussions, but they remain unverified speculation. Neither Jelly Roll, Bunnie Xo, nor Bailee Ann has publicly confirmed any of those claims. That hasn't stopped people from guessing. Some fans believe Bailee was simply expressing frustration after watching strangers invent stories about her family. Others speculate that she was referring to deeply personal circumstances that the family has deliberately chosen to keep private. There are also those who think her comments have been taken out of context and amplified by social media, where short clips often spread much faster than full conversations. Another reason the theories continue is because the family's public behavior doesn't match what many people expect after a celebrity divorce. Jelly Roll and Bunnie continue speaking kindly about each other. They haven't exchanged public accusations. And they've repeatedly described one another as best friends. Instead of legal battles or explosive interviews, they've emphasized respect, friendship, and moving forward together. Ironically, that unusual level of maturity has made some people even more suspicious. Online discussions often assume that if a couple isn't fighting publicly, they must be hiding something. But that's an assumption, not a fact. Relationships can end for many private reasons that never become public, and not every divorce involves a dramatic scandal. Another detail, fueling curiosity, is their continued commitment to becoming parents together. Bunnie has shared that they still plan to continue their fertility journey, despite ending their marriage, a decision that surprised many fans and challenged traditional expectations about divorce. For some, it reinforced the idea that their relationship had simply changed, rather than completely fallen apart. At this point, the biggest mystery isn't necessarily what happened between Jelly Roll and Bunnie Xo, it's why the public is so determined to find a dramatic explanation when the people involved continue telling a very different story. Until someone directly involved chooses to share more, the online theories remain exactly that, theories. Despite all the speculation, the most remarkable part of this story may not be the divorce itself. It may be what happened after it, as both of them chose a path that few celebrity couples ever managed to take. For many people following this story, the most surprising twist wasn't the divorce, it was everything that happened afterward. In a world where celebrity breakups often lead to public feuds, cryptic social media posts, or months of legal battles, Jelly Roll and Bunnie Xo took a completely different approach. Shortly after news of the split became public, Jelly Roll addressed it during one of his concerts. Standing in front of thousands of fans, he didn't sound angry or resentful. Instead, he spoke with gratitude. He told the audience that he and Bunnie had spoken on the phone earlier that day and described her as his best friend. He once again shut down the biggest rumor circulating online, saying that nobody had cheated, before thanking her for the 10 years they spent together as husband and wife. His message didn't stop there. Jelly Roll went on to say he hoped they would continue sharing many more years of friendship. It was an emotional moment that caught many fans off guard, because it focused less on the ending of a marriage and more on preserving a relationship that had evolved into something different. Rather than dwelling on heartbreak, he emphasized appreciation, respect, and the history they had built together. Around the same time, Bunnie Xo echoed that same perspective on her Dumb Blonde podcast. She explained that while their marriage had come to an end, their partnership in other areas of life had not. Notably, she revealed that they still intended to continue their journey toward having a child together, a decision that surprised even longtime followers of the couple. Bunnie spoke openly about how important becoming a mother remained to her and said she wasn't willing to let the divorce derail that dream. According to her, Jelly Roll fully supported continuing the process they had already started. It was an unusually honest glimpse into how the two were redefining their relationship, instead of completely walking away from each other's lives. That decision challenged many people's assumptions about what divorce has to look like. While every relationship is, their approach suggested that the end of a marriage doesn't always mean the end of trust, friendship, or shared goals. For some fans, it was for others, it was simply confusing because it didn't fit the dramatic narratives that often dominate celebrity news. Meanwhile, online discussions continued searching for hidden meanings behind every public statement. Yet the more Jelly Roll and Bunnie spoke, the more consistent their message became. They weren't trying to convince people that nothing had changed. They openly acknowledged the marriage was over. But they also made it clear that mutual respect, family, and the future still mattered deeply to both of them. As the weeks passed, one thing became increasingly obvious. The people closest to the situation seemed far more interested in protecting their peace than feeding the internet's curiosity. And that leaves one final question. Why does this story continue to captivate millions? When the family has repeatedly shared the same message from the very beginning, weeks after the divorce became official, the conversation still hasn't disappeared. New videos, reaction channels, and social media posts continue asking the same question. Is there more to the story than the public knows? Every time someone reposts Bailee Ann's livestream or quotes her now famous comment, the discussion starts all over again. The reason is surprisingly simple. Human nature doesn't like unanswered questions. Panned. When people hear that a longtime celebrity couple has ended their marriage, they often expect a dramatic explanation. A scandal, a betrayal, or some shocking. But in this case, the people closest to the situation have consistently pushed back against those assumptions. Jelly Roll has repeatedly said there was no cheating. Bunnie Xo has insisted there's nothing to clear up. Even Bailee, despite hinting that the public doesn't know everything, never actually confirmed any hidden scandal or accused anyone of wrongdoing. That hasn't stopped the internet from filling in the blanks. Across social media, countless creators continue offering theories about what Bailee might have meant. Some suggest there are deeply personal reasons the family simply isn't ready to discuss. Others believe her emotional comments were misunderstood and blown out of proportion after being clipped and shared without full context. At this point, those ideas remain exactly what they are: speculation. No verified information has emerged to confirm the more dramatic claims circulating online. And meanwhile, Jelly Roll and Bunnie appear to be moving forward with their lives. In much the same way they've described from the beginning. Both have continued focusing on their careers, speaking respectfully about one another, and emphasizing the importance of family. Rather than fueling public curiosity, they've consistently chosen privacy over sensational headlines. Bendy in many ways, that's what makes this story so unusual. Instead of a messy public breakup dominating entertainment news for months, viewers were left with something far more difficult to process: a divorce that didn't follow the script people expected. There were no explosive interviews, no public accusations, and no endless back and forth on social media. Just two people acknowledging that their marriage had ended while insisting they still cared deeply for each other. Whether more details ever become public is something only the family can decide. Until then, every new theory should be viewed with caution.